Happy lunch hour, guys. All right, so let's kind of go into something here real quick. Let's say this afternoon on your way back from work, way back from the store, whatever it is, you blow a tire. Can you afford to fix it? Let's say you get home tonight and the air conditioner's not working and it's 95 degrees outside. Can you afford to fix it? All these storms that have come through the last couple of days on the East Coast, you find you got a leak in your roof. Can you afford to fix it? Simple stuff like that. Report came out last week that 68% of the American public can't come up with $400 to cover an emergency. More than 2/3. To give you an idea how good our economy is, 5 years ago in 2018, that number was 40%. So we've added another 28% of the American public in the last 5 years that can't come up with $400. Yeah, this economy's roaring, isn't it? Best economy ever, right, Joe? Bidenomics is working. Right there, Jamie Dimon, right? $400 freaking dollars. So let me ask you this. Let's say you do have the ability to pay for the new tire, the air conditioner repair guy, or the roof guy. How are you going to pay him? Are you going to be like most Americans and whip out that credit card, finance it? Okay, told you the other day, we've now gone over $1 trillion in credit card debt. Are you going to write the guy a check? Are you going to pay him in cash? Hopefully, and I'd like to think that the majority of the people watching this channel can, hopefully the majority of us can whip out a stack of 20s and go, here's $400, paid. Okay. But that's going to get harder and harder and harder. We all know that the World Economic Forum, the Global Communist Democrat Party, the socialists, the whatever you want to call them, okay, are pushing hard for a digital dollar or world coin or whatever it would be. I don't think it's going to happen, but God knows I've been wrong before. Okay, it'll eventually happen. It's just not going to happen fast. Okay, but you look at something like people that say it'll never happen. That I'm going to disagree with. It'll eventually happen. I just don't know when. Why do I say that? How many of you remember back in the 80s listening to music in your car? You had a cassette tape, right? And all of a sudden, CDs came out. Not certificates of deposit, CDs. A little round metallic looking disc. You popped it into the car, or you popped it into the CD player at home and you listen to music, right? If you've got an older car, probably has a CD player in it. Not many of them have tape decks in them anymore. They all went CDs. And remember how fast, immediately, CDs disappeared when MP3s came out. Digital music came out that you could put on a little thumb drive, what the original ones looked like, and that was it. CDs went poof. Sure, you can still buy them, whatever, but that's not where it's basically delivered from. It's all digital. The physical form of something disappeared and we went straight to digital. Could the same thing happen with money? Absolutely. Okay. Do people want this? Some. I'll give you a silly thing. 38% of Americans would like to see us go completely cashless. More than 1/3 of the country wants to do away with cash altogether. 34% of Europe wants the same thing. So you're probably 1/3 roughly of the Western world wants to get rid of cash. Think about that. Oh, but that's not really possible. Cash will always exist, somebody will say. Right. Until you look at Australia. In the last year, since last summer, Australia has removed $1 billion in banknotes from circulation. Ones, fives, tens, 20s, 50s, hundreds, whatever it would be, just removed from circulation. Got rid of it. It's not there anymore. They converted that money to digital. Okay. Now think about this. How much are you already using digital currency? Think about the last 10 transactions you made for anything, okay? Whether it was going on Amazon, going to Walmart, paying a bill, in your poker game with your buddies, whatever it would be. Well, if you went to Amazon, I guarantee that wasn't cash. Chances are, if you were paying the mortgage, the car note, the electric bill, you probably did that over the internet, okay? So that wasn't cash. If you went into Walmart, the majority of people are either putting it on a credit card or a debit card. Okay? Even you go to a soda machine, okay? A lot of times, soda machine doesn't even take cash anymore. It's put your credit card in. Whatever you do is already digital. The fact is, there's only, it's like $1.8 trillion in US dollars in existence, okay? Actual, if you took every 100, 110, 510, 20, 50, 100, took everyone, it's only like $1.8 trillion in cash. The US government is $33 trillion in debt. So we've borrowed, 16, 17 times what all the cash that exists by their figures. I know what you guys are going to say. Unfunded liabilities, yeah, we're up near $200 trillion. Okay. Just take the U.S. credit card debt. It would take 2/3 of all the cash that exists to pay off U.S. credit card debt, right? Is cash going by the wayside? Yeah, okay. Because we're already being groomed, using that term, to use digital currency. It's more convenient. I won't disagree, okay? It's not completely trackable. There was a story that came out yesterday. Remember all these stories on that credit card companies were going to start tracking gun purchases? Okay, that's now been ruled unconstitutional. They can't do it. That's being ended. So another one of Joe's failures. Okay. They don't track your grocery purchases that much. Okay, if you use your little shopping card, the grocery store will track your purchases, sure. And that's how you get the coupons in the mail. You buy sour cream every week, all of a sudden you're going to get a coupon for sour cream. But some of that's for inventory purposes. It's not for tracking. Nobody's looking at, gee, he bought 18 gallons of gas to fill his car and then went and bought a burger and a beer for lunch. Nobody's really looking at that much. With CBDC, could we get there? Yes. But cash. What happens when there's an EMP, okay? There's no electricity. What happens when the power goes out, okay? You know right now what happens when the power goes out. The gas pump doesn't work for you to put your credit card in. The gas pump doesn't work at all because it's electric either. You can't go to the store and give them your debit card because the credit card machine doesn't work. You can still buy a gallon of milk if they've got refrigeration, okay? But you got to give them cash. What happens when that all goes away? How much, and everybody talks about control in regards to cash. And I've said it many times too. You've already bought your allotment of apples this week or your allotment of gasoline this week. You're not allowed to buy any more. Let's take that a step back. When you just can't even buy it because all you have, the store's fine. They've got a backup generator, for example, or you want to go buy a box of macaroni and cheese that's sitting on the shelf. No big deal. Doesn't need to be refrigerated. But if all you've got is digital currency, you can't do it. You have to have some sort of means of transaction. You're not going to walk into the grocery store and say, I will trade you 222 long rifle rounds for a box of macaroni and cheese. They're not going to do it. The store's not set up for barter or anything. So what happens without cash? Are we headed that direction? Yes. Do I think we'll ever get there? Not in my lifetime. Simple reason, as I just explained. We are not set up for that. We don't have a strong enough grid. We don't have the fail-safes in place to make it work. Again, it comes to the same thing as what prepping is all the time. Having it on paper, I don't care what it is, okay? I own this because this piece of paper says so. Doesn't mean shit, as opposed to I own this because it's in my hand. That's what you need to think about when you see all this stuff about people don't have enough money to pay their bills, or how much money should I have kept at home in the safe, or stuffed under the mattress, or in my wallet, or in a firebox, or whatever it would be. What are you going to do when the lights go out? If they try to turn this to a digital economy, which you know is the attempt, and then it's real easy for some guy to go, shh, power's off, everybody is now at my beck and call. They'll do whatever I say because I've just taken all of their wealth from them with the flick of a switch. We don't have to worry about cyber hackers or anything. You hear all these pro-digital, pro-crypto people saying, it'll get rid of bank robberies. Nobody's going to rob a bank anymore. No, they won't, because now they don't have to sit there and go in with guns ablazing and blow up buildings and crack safes. They just go, gone. All the ones and zeros are gone. The only way you will protect your wealth, to protect any of your wealth, is by owning something outright in physical form. That is the way that we will stop the criminal cabal that is the World Economic Forum, that is politicians, that is BRICS nations, etc., etc. The way we stop them is by having everything physically. Do not rely on anything promissory notes or, I own paper gold. You don't own squat. You own a piece of paper. You gave them their money. You gave them your hard-earned money for the fact that somebody's going to say, I'll give you the gold down the road, right? Let me give you this. How many people have stood up at the altar and said, till death do us part? And then they wind up 5 years later going, yes, Mr. Attorney, I need to undo the death do you part. Same thing, guys. Unless you have it physically, you don't own it. Get more cash, get more beans, get more bullets, get more land, get more fuel, get more of everything. Because when it all blows up, possession is 9/10 of the law. In an SHTF event, possession is 10/10 of the law. Pinball out.